What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the NJ Show. How's everybody doing? It's good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Get the comments in. You know what to do. Get the comments in, and we'll do a shout out shortly. The last time we did an episode was when was it? I think it was last Wednesday, wasn't it? We did the FOMC watch along. Now, the question I've got is, has anything really changed since then? Right? Let's just have a look to make sure. I want to see exactly when. Yeah, it was 5 days ago. That was the last time that we streamed. And that was the last time that we looked at Bitcoin. That was the last time that we looked at Ethereum and so on. And you know what? Looking at this chart right now, which I'll bring up on my screen in a minute, I'm not seeing a crazy amount that's actually changed. I'm seeing a lot of chitter and chatter on Twitter, but I personally can't see it. Now, there are a few cases that I've built up in my head, which I can show you guys on the chart in just a moment as to what I think is going to happen, why I think X amount is going to happen. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, get the comments in so I can do the shout out. Everybody's asleep. Get your comments in. Otherwise, I'm just going to kick off the episode. Keep the comments coming in. Keep the comments coming in. I'm going to share my screen now and we're just going to kick it off and I'll do the shout out somewhere along the stream. All right. So look, when it comes to Bitcoin, this is the macro chart. Okay. Macro chart. And the reason I'm starting off with this macro chart is because I want to pick up exactly where we left off. All right. I don't want to really restart today. Now, has it done anything that can make me think, okay, we're changing, or there's been a turn of events, or something looks different, or we're gonna start climbing back up? All right. Now, when looking at Bitcoin, for me personally, I can't see any differences. Now, I'm noticing here that we do have some pretty small bodied candles. All right. And we are starting to turn. That's a very good sign. All right. However, what would the natural target be? Now, if we look at this for what it is, we've broken below resistance. All right, we've broken below support. Sorry, support should now, in theory, become resistance. I appreciate that, and that's what I'm expecting to happen. Since we've broken below here, we haven't really got that retest into 17,750. Now, why would I assume that a retest into 17,750 would come? The reason for that is because if we look over here, where we got this range, notice how we have the touch here. We've got the touch at the bottom here. We've got another touch here, almost-ish. All right, if we come forward a little bit. Let me take off this magnet mode 1 second. It's auto mode. There we go. If we come here, we can see that we retested this as support. We retested it here. And if we come forward now, we retested it here as well. And then the market gave us a bounce. We didn't quite retest it here, but the market gave us a bounce in this same area again. And now we're back below here. This kind of looks like the magnet, doesn't it? This level right here, which comes in at 17,750. All right. So I'm thinking now, if Bitcoin is going to start pushing upwards, then I guess 17,750 would be the reactionary sort of area. All right. Now, what do we need to get to 17,750? Let's have a look. Now, this black line that I've got marked out here, I marked this out as a mean level. And I think I explained this to you guys 5 days ago. I said, look, I'm going to mark this level out. If we can clear it, if we can get above it, we'll talk. It's been 5 days since I marked that level out, and we haven't really had any sort of action. These little candles that we get here get people really, really excited when, we've had candles that are like the size of this that people have seemed to have forgotten about. When we're in a bear market still, and the chop is really starting to affect the psychology of people in the space. That's what I'm noticing anyway. You can see that there's a real sort of desperation to make money in the market now. And people who are used to making money from the market and trading a trending environment, or perhaps, I don't know, looking for a trade consistently, being more averse to volatile experiences, they're getting a bit bored, and these small little green candles that we're starting to see now are becoming really, really, really enticing. you know, and that doesn't really swing with me. That doesn't really swing with me. I think that this market is really boring. It's rubbish. It's choppy. It's really easy to lose money. I've made some money from this market. I've also been stopped out and chopped out in this market. It's a very difficult market to trade. Now, if we zoom out, right? If we zoom out just quickly, one more time on the weekly, it's really difficult to go long here. If you see, we've got our levels, we've got our higher time frame levels that we take serious importance to. All right. It's very difficult to go short or long right in this area here. All right. For me, anyway, it's very confusing going long or short right here, because if you go short, your stop loss could be this high right here, which is not really a valid stop loss on this time frame right here, but you can easily get stopped out because you've got 1750 right there, 17750 right there, which is your natural resistance level. And right below it as well, you've got the natural magnet, which is the 14.5K magnet. All right. Now, I know SC's gone long. SC understands the market way better than all of us does. All right. He's going to be able to see certain things that we're not. And to add further context to SC's long, you have to remember that he took a scalp trade that has now evolved into a swing trade. He didn't take a swing trade in the middle of nowhere. He took a scalp around the bottom and he's seeing price pushing up. Now, price is pushing up. You've got some pretty clear targets. If you long Bitcoin at, I don't know, 15,500, for example, right? And your target is 17,750, that is a very, very good target. You're going to make good gains from that. So a scalp trade where you're scalping for a couple of $100 can eventually evolve into a swing trade where you're looking for $1,000 to $2,000. He's not looking to go long to come back to 30K as an example, unless price started to unfold in that manner. All right. Now, if we break it down a little bit further, like I said, it's difficult for me to go long or short here. Is there a trade that I could think of though that could have some higher probability that could give me a shout into, making some money? Now, for me, I would look at something potentially like this. Something like this and right like this. Now, this is a 1.5 hour trade. It's not a crazy trade, but it is still a way to make money. What I've done is I've used this low here as my stop loss. All right. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You can see here all the resistance that we've got here, We can't even close above this black line anymore. So for me, if we can get above and hold above, I'll push it into 17,750. That makes sense. Until then, though, until that moment where it breaks above and holds, I don't know. Everything is at resistance for me. Everything is kind of I don't know, looking shit. I'll give you an example, right? If we go into the 4 hour, you can see that it starts to look a little bit clearer, even though you've got your mean level here. But this doesn't look like an over-under pattern. Do you know what I'm talking about? When you've got a level, right? Say, for instance, we're going to use this level here, okay? Price does its thing, gets below, right? Gets back above. And then this area is your confirmation, right? This area here. And that's what you typically look at for a very good setup, all right? Now, this here doesn't look like that to me. I don't feel like that's that. So, because of that, I'm very sort of conscious of trading this market. It's a very horrible market to trade. And I'm telling you now, more people are losing money, more people are getting stopped out than they are making money, but everybody's desperate to trade because everybody thinks that, Bitcoin is dumping so low that it's probably going to start shooting back up like crazy. How low can it actually go? And people are forgetting that accumulation cycles exist as well. That's another thing that we need to take into consideration. I think we've gone into accumulation, maybe one more leg lower, which I think we're in the middle of right now. Okay, so going back to the daily real quick, I think that we're in the middle of this leg. I think that if we've broken below the range high, naturally we'll be looking for the range low. Now, if the range low or the mid-range, you play it from range high to mid-range to range low. That's fair. I completely agree with that. Now, the thing is, if we've broken below the range high, I don't know. I've got more reasons to talk about 14.5K right now than I do 17,750. And I'm happy to be wrong. I'm really happy to be wrong. Get the comments in, by the way. Get the comments. I'm about to do the shout out in just a minute. So get your comments in. If you haven't liked the video already, we've got 50 people watching now. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to the channel. We're on our way to 6K subscribers. Would really appreciate your help. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in. So going back to Bitcoin, as I said, there's just more reasons right now for me to look for 14.5 than there is to look for 17,750. And I do agree that it can come. There are ways to get on board. Again, even if we go into the hourly, it's not difficult to understand what I'm looking for here. Below this black line, resistance. Above it, support. All right. And that's all I can say. You've even got a little trend line here as well, which I won't really use as confluence, but you just to show you, just to give you an example. Everything here to me, I can't really see the long. I'm trying my best to look for it. I want to make money too. I want to make money too. If somebody shows me a scenario where I can drop money in on spot and then I can exit in a day or two or three, and I can exit with money, with profits, I'm down for it. And I'm consistently looking for that. Furthermore, to add to that, I love it when Bitcoin goes up. That's like my favorite thing in the world. It's what got me to become Trader NJ. It's what got me to start my Twitter. It's what got me to start my YouTube channel. I love it when the market's going up, but I can't build a case for it right now. Maybe I'm not experienced enough. Maybe I'm not smart enough. But everything that I'm looking at, it looks shit. It just looks absolutely rubbish. Again, going back into the daily, the only sort of bullish case that I can build up for this is on the weekly. All right. The only thing I can build up for it is on the weekly. And all I can see, and this is just my honest opinion, right? I'm happy to be wrong, like I've said. All I can see is that we are starting to turn. I do like this swing low formation that we've got here. I like how we've done this. All right. Look at this. I do like how we've done this. All right. If we zoom into that a little bit, you'll see here that you see here. Now, this is the thought process behind it. Let me explain the thought process. This will really help you guys, all right? Now, please try and pay attention. I may speak a little bit quickly, but please try and pay attention. I don't really like talking about trading stuff like this in the channel, but let me explain it to you. So, once again, if we zoom out, right? This is a little learning tip for you guys. Smash the likes if you enjoy this learning tip, all right? Notice that these bigger levels that I've marked out, you've got the black line, you've got the orange, the mid-range, the orange range low. These are the main levels. Now, when we smashed into this range, look at the candle, okay? This candle here was the candle that sent us lower, all right? We agree with that. And it broke us into the range, all right? Now, this candle would have had all the stops right below this wick, and it has all the stops resting above this wick. So if we look at this candle, let's look at this candle, right? I'll show you guys something, and let's see if we can even build a range. Watch this. If I do this, top of this candle to the bottom of this candle, look what price does. If we go into the hourly now, this is the range that I've marked out. Okay, from the top of this move down to the bottom of this move. Maybe we can come a little bit lower. Bear with me. Maybe we can go a little bit lower. Like that. That looks really good to me. All right. Now, what we've done is we've taken out the previous low, the previous week's low, and we've closed above. Now, notice here how that mean level that I had earlier on, it's still a range level. So I can see the mentality. The mentality is, okay, if we took out the weekly close, if we took out the weekly low and we've closed above it, then it's a swing fail and we're going to start pushing up. The natural place to take the stops will be the high of that same candle, which is why you'll see a lot of people calling for 21,600 or 21,000, not 20,000. Hold on, bear with me. It was, what does this come in at? This swing high here comes in at 21,400-ish. Okay, so that's why you'll see a lot of people calling for that, because they've seen it's a very basic classic trading pattern. If you take out the stops here, right, naturally the magnet is going to be up here to take out the stops. All right. So I can see why everybody's doing that. And also it's a great narrative as well. You know, if we took out this high right here, everyone, yeah? Look at this high right here. If we took out this high right here, everybody would get bullish. You'd get so many traders talking about a break in market structure, saying, "Oh, okay, we've made a high here, up top here, all right? And this is a higher low, this is a higher low, this is a higher low. We've broken into this range. We've come back out of this range. We've taken this out here and we've closed above. That's a higher high. So Bitcoin is now bullish when in the meantime, there'll be so many bearish factors in the market that it will just be a massive bull trap, a massive bear trap, bull trap, sorry, a massive bull trap. You'll get suckered into getting bullish only for the market to truly correct. Now, for me personally, I don't think we're in that situation yet. I just don't see it. It doesn't look good to me. You know, I can even see a small channel here, which adds context to the story. You know, if we do something like this, all right, just very rough, very rough. It doesn't have to be exactly on point, but if we do something like this, then I can see what people are looking for. Let's ride it back to the top of the channel and then maybe break down. But even then, I can see it. I can see it. I'm not blind. I can see it. I see what some of these other traders are saying as well. It does look good. It does look good. And there are ways to long this as well. Now, look, this is where I'll break it down. This is where I'll summarize our 20 minutes of Bitcoin. All right. If you wanted to go long here, the question you got to ask yourself is, where am I wrong? Where would I cut the position, or where would I change my narrative? Now, if you're long here, okay, in this area here, your stop loss needs to be below. Okay, it needs to either be below 14.5, or if you want to be aggressive, it's got to be below 15.3. Okay, so if you were to go long here, your stop loss would be 15.3k. That's $1,000 stop loss. Your targets would be very clean and simple. Your targets would be 17,750 and potentially the top of this channel here, which comes in at roughly around 19 to 20k. Okay, so it is a 3 to 4 hour trade. It really is a 3 to 4 hour trade. At the same time, I mean, who's ready to lose again? The amount that we've lost in the last couple of months, it's silly to trade this if you don't know what you're doing. All right, so literally what I'm expecting is either something like this, all right, or I'm expecting it to at the very most, tap 17,750 and then start pushing down, maybe past 14.5k and maybe into that 12k region. All right, another thing that we need to take into consideration of is, if I remove all of this, if we look at the 12-month chart, right, the yearly chart, we are at support, but we haven't quite tapped support yet. All right, that main support that we're looking for on the yearly chart is, it falls in at roughly around, hold on, what's the high of this? It falls in at 13,920. So $13,900 is that main support for Bitcoin. All right, now I feel like we haven't even touched it yet. Okay, we've got the ranges, we've got the lines. I appreciate all of that, but we haven't actually, we haven't actually dumped into it yet. All right. Now, if this candle was the up move that sent the market higher, then the same concept is in play, and I'll show it to you. Let me go on another chart of Bitcoin, right? Let's look at this chart. There we go. Hold on. Let me remove all of this. If this candle here was the up move, was the down move that sent the market to new highs, then we've got to treat that as a range as well. So what I'm going to do is I'll mark out a range from here to here. I'll use the bodies. All right. Now that's a range. Now, if I go back into the weekly and I look at this, like this here, if we are to retest anything, don't you think that the natural place to retest would be this level here, this 13,900 level? Think about it. Look, this is where a chunk of the price action is happening. Above here is where the chunk of the price action is happening. We have a bunch of price action in this area here, and the rest is kind of thin, isn't it? Like you have thin moves here, you have thin moves here, thin moves here, And we've taken those out. Where we previously had thin moves, we've now got bulky price action. And where we had bulky price action, we've now got the thin moves. I'll give you an example, right? So over here, this area right here, we had a thin move. And the market's responded now with a choppy price action here, all right, on the way back down. Similarly, we had a thin move here, all right, and that got wiped out here. Okay, we had some consolidation here, and then the market sent off. We even retested this area here, and then we sold off. So, in hindsight, it looks perfect. Now we've got another thin move here, okay? And the market has responded. So it gives me another reason. Maybe we don't tap this 13,900 level. Maybe we push up first and then go back into it. But the more and more I look at this, everyone, the more and more I'm seeing that this area here feels like the area of power. This area feels like the area where we're going to spring. Now, the mid range of that area comes in at 9K. All right. And I'm not going to chat shit to everybody. It really feels like 9K could be on the cards. When looking at the range like this, there are multiple ways to look at Bitcoin and build cases. I can build a case for 13K, 12K, 11K, 10K, especially 9K. I can build a case for that. Now, the next level of support I'd be looking for is 13,900. I'm more than happy for Bitcoin to do something like this, right? Maybe come down into 12K, hold here for a little while, come back up, range here for however long it wants to range, and then start going upwards. I'm more than happy for that. All right? Because then 12K would have been the low. It makes complete sense. It makes sense that, we would have got near enough the mid range. All right? And we would have had that year of accumulation, and it would be a great place to buy. Buyers would have had their chance to get on board. Bitcoin would be quiet. The accumulation period would knock most of the market participants out and would be good. Now, another scenario is maybe we don't get this retest. Maybe we shank like this, and rather than longing it here, it just does the exact same thing it did here, all right? Only to surprise everybody and dump below the mid-range. If we dump below the mid-range, I guarantee you the old NJ, the NJ from 2017-18 would get bearish here. If we broke below this, everybody, the biggest meme would be the COVID lows. Everybody would say, yo, I'm pretty confident that Bitcoin is going for the COVID lows. This is the most realistic scenario. Everybody would be getting short, and that would be the biggest volatile move in the market. When in reality, all it's done, if you're zooming out, is it's retested support, and we're now in the middle of in the middle of it, not starting, but in the middle of it before we go to new highs. All right, so look, something like this. Tell me that doesn't look clean to you. Like, tell me that's not something you'd expect to see in 3 years' time or something. To me, that looks super, super, super clean. And when you pinch it out, sometimes you can see how that works. It doesn't look very difficult. It doesn't look like a very difficult concept to understand. This is the upper purple is resistance. Lower purple is support. Lower purple looks good, man. It looks good for a retest. All we've done now is we've broken out. Think about how long we were in this lower box for. You see this little circle, this little purple box that I've got here? We were in this purple box for the better part of 2 years, approaching, going into the third year. Now, we broke out of that 2-year accumulation. We made new accumulation above, okay? So maybe we can just do that. Maybe we can even dump here one time, okay? Do something like this. Push back up here into 30K, and then just do this. And then this area here will become the new purple box. Okay, look. Like that. And then this area here would be the new bull market box. Like that. Does that make sense? Do you see what I mean when I say that the market isn't giving us a good read? There's so many things that can unfold right now, and picking the one that has the most probability is difficult to do because we're in the middle of nowhere. Does that make sense? Is everybody on board? Is everybody clear? I am seeing the comments, It's just really quiet today. That's why I've not done the shout out. There's not really many people commenting, but let me know what you think. Is that clear? Is that clear? I'm gonna take a drag of this vape and a sip of water while you guys let me know if it's clear or not. Man, everybody is quiet today. We've got 37 likes as well. We need to get at least 13 to 15 more likes on that. That needs to happen ASAP. When's the next stream? The next stream will be tomorrow. Okay, I'll make sure I come live for you guys tomorrow. Everybody's saying clear, which is good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, if we move on to Ethereum, I'm kind of seeing the exact same thing. All right, I'm seeing the exact same thing. If we move over to the daily, hold on there. So I said for Ethereum that a likely scenario could be we break down into this area here. Let me remove this. We break down here. We start pushing up. We look for that double top right here, and then we get sent lower. I remember what I said for Ethereum. What I said for Ethereum was this, okay? So this area here, this consolidation is the one that you got to pay attention to, all right? If I drag out all the way like this, that's the area of consolidation that you've got to pay real attention to, okay? Now, support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support, etc., etc. Now, we push up, we break down below. Now we're retesting it. It's resistance. It's not support. So even this scenario that I've got marked out here, the reason I've got this scenario marked out here is because maybe the mid-range is pulling it upwards. Okay, maybe we tag the mid-range one more time. Now, if we was to get something like this would be a great shorting opportunity. All right, if we get something like this level comes in at around 1420. All right. Now, if we tagged 1420, that might be a shout for a really good shorting opportunity because you've even got this little trend line here like this, something like that. All right, it'd be a great opportunity to short. Alternatively, we might not get that. We might get resistance in this little purple box here, and we might just get sent lower, something like this. All right. Again, it's just not clear. It's just not really clear. It doesn't look good. All right. If we did get this move, don't you think it would be more safe to wait for this move to unfold and then short it from this level rather than trying to long it from here into this level? Because if you look at the end of the day, if you're shorting it from a macro level, you're essentially building good probability because you're in a bear market. There's a lot of traditional markets that have a lot of bearish news against it. All right. So if you're shorting it at a macro level, more time, you're probably going to give yourself easier risk to manage. Whereas if you're longing it here and you're trying to long it into resistance, and then from resistance, you're going to short it, you're counter trend trading. All right. Now, if you're trading a trend and you're countering it, then what's to stop price from just nuking from exactly where it is right now? Because that's something that we haven't spoken about yet. All this stuff that we've talked about when it comes to Bitcoin and ETH, we haven't spoken about the idea that this might just nuke from exactly here. Then what? Now, the reason I'm not really emphasizing on it because, if it was to just nuke from here, then I'm not on board. I can't just short randomly. Like, I can't. Right now, to me, it's a random short. You could short it here with a stop loss above the purple box. So you could take a stop like this. I'll give you an example, right? And that's a 1.8R trade. But it just looks a bit shit, to be honest. I don't know how you guys feel, but it doesn't look great to me. I need more. I need some clarity. It just looks up and down. In reality, right? In reality, all we've done is play between here and here. Yes, they are big numbers. They are big numbers. But let's say, for example, you are a range trader. Let's say you are. Then what are you doing buying it here in the middle of nowhere? Let people who have studied it for 10 years do that. Why don't you just buy the main levels? Like, look, if it comes back to the mid-range, short it. If you get stopped out, calm. If it holds above the mid-range, right? But then you've got to move here into the range high, and you've got easy targets. One target here, one target here, one target here. You know what I'm saying? It's that much more simple. Same time, if it does go into the mid range, you short it, it might just go back to range low. It might just go back to range low, you know? Now, if it did just shank from here and break down and it tapped into the range low right here, well, you've got an opportunity now to buy Ethereum at like $850 for a potential bounce into 1400. Because if this is the range, this is not a new range. I didn't just pick this range out from the other day. This is a range that goes back from 2021, January 2021, December 2020 almost. You know, now you've got the range low here, which has been respected. You've got the range high here, which has been respected. You've got all these little deviations, right? Which was part of the bull market. Now, when we hit the bear market, the deviations weren't that big. All right. You see, we've got the deviation here. We've got deviation here. But this is, again, range play. And it's a very, very big range. So for me, I just can't think of anything to do now other than wait for these big levels. If we got to the range low, I'd buy some here probably, you know, to be honest. At like 850, I'd buy some. And I'd be looking for 1400. Or maybe I'd be looking for, there'd be multiple targets. We'll play that when it comes. And then if Ethereum was to go from these levels here back into the mid-range, then we'd start talking about the potential of either we're shorting or either we're expecting to push out of the mid-range. We'll see what happens then. But right now, scalping, I don't know, man. I don't know. And also, just to give you guys one more piece of advice just before we move on to the news, when it comes to scalping, that really fucked me up, you know. In 2018, I studied this, exactly what we're looking at. I studied it so much, right? That all I did every single day was this. Like every single day. I didn't focus on news. I didn't focus on crypto. I didn't focus on things that actually mattered. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but those are the things that mattered. Understanding what's going on in the space that you're involved with, that's what matters, not price action. You see, when you're looking at price action here, I'm giving you trade examples, right? But in reality, if you zoom out, we've not really achieved anything. All we've done is we've taken a decent trade. All right. Now, for me, where the money really holds, the money is in the trending markets. You see, if you start shorting the market from where the market starts trending downwards, that's when you make a big chunk of the money. But also, if you catch a bull market, guys and girls, I'm not even joking. Like, you don't understand. You have to see it to believe it. When you catch a bull market, it's the amount of money that you start shitting out is just retarded. Because you're not just longing Bitcoin, but you're buying all of these altcoins. Everybody's a genius and everything's going up and Twitter's going mad. YouTube's going mad. It's fun. It becomes fun. Like right now you're here, we're charting this chart. We're looking for potential targets, and it's not really fun. Everybody's stressed. Everybody's like, I need to find the next trade. I need to see where the market's going to do next. The market's not volatile enough. Are we going to go lower? What's going to happen? In a bull market, it's the opposite. Everybody's just having fun. You just wake up and you're in a good mood and you buy something and you're just awake the next day and it's 30% up. That's how the bull market is. You know, you throw like, I can't explain it. It's crazy. You have like 500k portfolio and you take half of it and you just dash it into a coin. And then you just wake up the next day, you're like 200k up. You're like, what? Is that how bull market? I swear to God. I've seen it with my own eyes. So, you know, I spend all my time in the last bear market just studying price action, and I realized that it wasn't the be all and end all. It was just a means to understand the market. Yes, you can use this to trade in and out, but really and truly, for me, what I want to do is I want to understand the market and I want to trade the levels that are super easy to trade, right? Like for instance, you see, if we get the range low here at like 850-ish and I bought that, I know I can go sleep. All right, because look, we've only tapped it twice. Once here in 2021, once here in 2022. Like, if we tap this again, especially if it's 2023 and we tap this again, I'm buying it. Because every time we tap this level, we get a bounce. And even if we get a bounce to 1400, bro, I'm happy with that. That's nearly a 2x. I'm out. I'm gone. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That is the money for the year done. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm using this TA for, I'm using this TA to help me understand when the next bull market's going to be. You see, if we do get to this 850 level, I'm going to get gassed. I'm going to get excited because we're back at those potential generational lows. Yeah, maybe we go a bit lower. Maybe 850 is the low, you know, and maybe we come to around 400-500 as the deviation. So we come back down here. everyone buys it, we get excited, we push up, I don't know, we do something like this, push up into 1400, we break below it, get back below. When we get back to the range low, we actually break down into 500, right? We get back above, hold here, hold here, hold here, and then hold on, I'm not even done yet. We're back here now. Everybody's like, yeah, we're going to short it. It's just range play. But then the Bitcoin halving comes into play, and suddenly this becomes support, and we start pushing up. And suddenly we're back at $4,000, and nobody even knows we're back in a bull market yet. People still haven't come back into crypto yet. Only when we start taking out these highs and these highs here, suddenly crypto starts becoming fun again. You'll see like the NJ show popping. Everybody's got good energy. Everybody's gassed, etc., etc. And then you'll know, oh, we're probably in a bull market right now. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it anyway. That's my take on it. That was your 35 minutes of TA and price action on Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you enjoyed it, make sure you smash a like on the video. We're still not quite at 50 likes yet. You know how I love to get 100 likes per episode. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get it this episode because we don't even have 100 people here. But do your part anyway and see if you can support the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Bottom right hand corner. Let's move on to the news. All right, now I know that a lot of you guys and girls know what's been going on with FTX and Sam as of late. I've got this little pillow here, right? And it's the amount of feathers that's coming out of it. It's like flying up and it's tapping my nose. Hey, Richard, thank you for the comment, Richard. Thank you for the comment. That's a nice comment you've dropped there, Richard. Appreciate you. I haven't even done a shout out today, you know, it's a bit deep. Let me do a quick one. Let me do a quick one for everybody, just so I can say hello to everybody, and then we'll carry on with the show. All right. So we've got Richard here who's dropped in a very lovely comment. We've got Nano here saying, hello, buddy. Good to see you, Nano. Appreciate you. Got Crypto Kusama here who says he's here. Hi, good to see you, mate. We've got August here. Love to see you, August. Really, really appreciate you, mate. I think it's time to make you an admin, August, because you're here all the time and you always drop good stuff. Hold on. How do I do this? Give a quick shout out to August in the chat, all right? August is now an admin on In It for the Text NJ show. It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Alexander here saying, let's call SC and XO. Yeah, we should, man. We should definitely get SC on. We'll see if we can get him on soon. XO is a very busy man, but I'll see if I can get him on soon. His narratives are always amazing. I love listening to him talk. Whenever he comes on the show, it feels like I'm learning too. It's mad. It's mad. We've got Abdul here as well. What are you saying here, mate? Positive England win the World Cup or negative Chinese tanks rolling on the streets? I don't think England's going to win the World Cup, mate. I don't think we're going to get that far. I think maybe we'll get to the quarters, but I don't think we'll win that far. Southgate isn't a very good manager, and I think this will be his last World Cup and last connection with England. He reminds me too much of Ollie. He's really shit. We've got Jay Moep here. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for your lovely, lovely comment saying good TA, bro. Frederico's live from the office. Great to see you, bro. Thank you for joining. Stinkfoth, good to see you, my bro. Hamid, great to see you. N1, I know you're always commenting, you're always doing your thing. Nicholas Giroux is always the first that comes into the chat and he comments, so it's good to see you. And of course, it would never be a stream without Phil the Flying Frenchman. So thank you for joining the show. We've got Nook Trader here as well, Noob Trader here as well. Thank you for joining the show. We got some new names today, if I'm honest with you. We got some new names. We got Rolly Diaz. Great to see you. Thank you very much for joining. We got AC here. Says salam all the time. England ain't winning. I agree with you, but salam to you anyway, bro. We got Jeep Fatty here saying great job, Z. Cool. Appreciate you. I'm not Z, I'm NJ, but cool. And yeah, all right, let's carry on with the show. All right, I don't want to bore everybody, but if you did get a shout out, GG. And if you didn't get a shout out, you can send a super chat in and I'll definitely read it. I'll stop the show for you, all right? If you send a super chat in, that's how it goes. Let's keep the likes coming in if you don't mind, Ledgers. We got 56 now. Let's keep it coming in. I do appreciate it. Let's see what the subscriber count is saying. Bear with me. We are on 5,044 subscribers. So we're 6 away from 5,050. 50 away, 56 away from 5,100. We're getting there slowly, but just make sure that you guys are doing your part, okay? When the next bull market comes, it's not going to be as lenient as it is now, all right? Right now, I can engage with you guys a lot more. I can really, really work with you guys a lot more. We can have a bit more fun. We can talk a lot more. But when the bull market comes, I've seen it before. I've seen how these channels operate. there's going to be a much bigger crowd. All right. So for those of you who are new to the channel now, if you're subscribing now, you're getting involved in something very early. All right. So consider that. Just keep that into consideration. So moving on now. Moving on. You guys know what's been going on with FTX, with Sam. FTX going bankrupt, beefing with CZ, and CZ just cutting the head of the snake off. Now, naturally, there's going to be a domino effect that falls through with that as it goes along. We know that FTX, I think a couple of months ago, we covered it on this channel. FTX, they supposedly bailed out BlockFi. For those of you who remember, who were watching the channel a couple of months ago, they, wanted to bail out BlockFi. I think it was a $265 million bailout where they deposited it onto their platform and allowed that liquidity process to take place, giving them the liquidity they needed not to go bankrupt and to stay in the game. Now, the thing is, right, fast forward a few months later and FTX have to go bankrupt because the FTT token went to zero. They borrowed all this money by collateralizing their own token, which I don't know how they got away with that. But anyway, that's what they did. And, they went to zero. Now, FTX going down, BlockFi follows FTX and files for bankruptcy protection. Now, the US-based crypto lender BlockFi has filed for a Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection due to a liquidity crisis caused by its proximity to FTX. Now, look, this is absolutely bearish news. This is news that keeps coming out every week. I promise you the news is going to change at some stage. We are going to get really bullish, exciting news at some stage. Just right now, we've got to bear with. We've got to hold on and we've got to bear with. Don't forget to give August a shout out in the chat. I'm not seeing enough in the chat. If you're in the chat and you're not talking much, give a shout out to August for becoming an admin on the In It for the Text NJ show. All right. August is going to be one of those people that's here in the future when the show's going crazy and the atmosphere is mad. And he's going, or he or she, he's probably going to be one of those people that's going to keep the chat in check. All right. So show love and respect to the mod. All right. Cheers. So BlockFi conducted business with FTX by issuing loans to crypto trading firm Alameda, and it also held cryptocurrencies on FTX's platform. According to BlockFi, its assets and liabilities are somewhere between $1 billion USD and $10 billion USD. Operations relating to the ongoing restructuring process will be funded by the USD 260 million in cash that BlockFi currently has on hand. Now, you might get a bit confused here thinking that this is the 200 million that FTX gave to BlockFi, but I don't think it is. According to decrypt.com, BlockFi took 400 million USD as a line of credit from FTX in the summer of 2022, and I think that was the bailout, all right? And it also received 850 million in 2 funding rounds in 2021. I think they lost that. As the company is figuring out how to move forward, customer withdrawals remain paused. Customers were also asked not to submit any deposits into their accounts. BlockFi representatives cited by FinTech News revealed that the management team and board of directors immediately took action to protect clients and the company following the collapse of FTX. The company also denied that a majority of its assets were tied up in FTX, but admitted to significant exposure to FTX and associated corporate entities. Now, okay, so we're going into bankruptcy for BlockFi. We don't need to read the rest. What we need to understand is that BlockFi, going from a position of power a couple of months ago where FTX were bailing them out. I don't know if you guys remember, but Binance were also doing the same thing. Binance were looking for, I think, 100 projects, 100 crypto projects that they believed could survive throughout the bear market, going into the next bull market. And, Binance wanted to do the same thing. Now, FTX, they did lead the way with that. Obviously, they were using money they didn't have. And now BlockFi, unfortunately, has to suffer. So moving forward from that, BlockFi sues FTX's SBF hours after the bankruptcy filing. Now, this is where it gets a bit sticky because we already know that SBF is one of those characters that is probably going to end up in jail, but probably not because of the people that he knows. That said, it's going to be sticky turbulence for him as we go on into the coming years. All right, this guy is like the crypto Brahma of 2021. Realistically, he kind of is, you know. So BlockFi now has sued SBF for his shares in Robinhood, which was used as collateral. And you're starting to see a re-emerging pattern here with SBF, whereby you see him taking things that he owns and using them as collateral. You know, I want to buy a Bugatti, so I'll use this MacBook here as collateral, you know, because I want to buy a Bugatti, or I want to buy a new vape, therefore I'll use this vape as collateral. It doesn't work. You know, my dad always told me that you never take loans. Okay, obviously, me and my sisters didn't listen to him, and we do loans anyway. We finance shit, but well, not anymore, but in the past, you know. But anyway, my dad always says, he says, never take loans. If you can afford it, then you buy it, but don't take loans. Don't owe people money, because money is what really, really imprisons you. You know, this guy is the complete opposite. This guy has billions and billions and billions. And what is he doing? He's taking out loans by collateralizing the stuff that he has. He doesn't actually have money. He's got phones. He's got I don't know, a water bottle, a microphone, a keyboard, a monitor. He's collateralizing everything, you know? And, you know, he might be getting away with it. I agree. He might be getting away with it, as Unidiver is saying here. I agree. He probably is getting away with it. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that he's not going to suffer over the course of the next coming months and years. You have to remember, bro, when you've got billions of dollars, right, you're used to private jets, you're used to yachts, you're used to being able to do anything that you want. You could be in a room with people and someone could make a plan, and that plan would not be a plan that you can't follow through with. You're used to that lifestyle. Going from a net worth of roughly around $14 billion to, I think it was 900 million. I think it went even lower. I'm not sure, but I'll be really honest with you. I don't know what money SBF has hidden, but I know that he's not as rich as he once was. And things aren't the same anymore for him. And now he's going to keep getting sued. He's going to keep getting in trouble. Any projects that he was associated with, he's going to keep getting in trouble. Now, let's have a look at this article and dive into what this article is talking about. So we know that, you know, BlockFi is now suing SBF, and it happened on the same day that they filed for the bankruptcy. So BlockFi has sued SBF for his shares in Robinhood, an American financial services provider. Interestingly, this news comes hours after BlockFi filed for a Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. BlockFi's complaint seeks Robinhood shares, as it was reportedly kept as collateral by SBF, according to Financial Times. So they're dragging Robinhood into this now. Robinhood probably don't even know what's going on. Notably, the FTX founder has a 7.6% share in Robinhood, which was acquired in May this year. At the time, the shares bought by SBF's Emergent Technologies was worth a whopping $650 million, and SBF is said to have had the sole director with the majority shares. So interestingly, this move was followed by plans for a complete acquisition of Robinhood. However, that didn't come to fruition. So my man tried to treat this like Man United. He tried to come in, he was hoping to buy 10% of the shares and then slowly try and take ownership of the platform, right? If you got the money to buy it, buy it. If you don't have the money to buy it, get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? So this is another one of SBF's stupidities. Again, it's a stupidity. I mean, I really don't know how this guy got this far. Like, when you look back in hindsight, it's quite shocking, isn't it? How did he get this far in the game without somebody? I mean, it wasn't BitBoy. It was BitBoy towards the end, but let's be honest, he swindled all of us, bro. You know? And yeah, look what August is saying here. I remember this. I really do remember this. Remember when SBF said they wanted to buy Goldman, and then they realized it would cost 10 times the amount to buy Goldman. And then Goldman later came out and said that they could buy FTX if they wanted to. And also Goldman came out and said they'd even consider buying Celsius, you know, to bring it back to its $10 billion glory. Crypto is still early, you know. Crypto is still early. There's still a lot to transpire in crypto before crypto becomes so big that you're talking about the size of, like, you know, football clubs and shit like that. When it comes to like firms, hedge funds, football clubs, banks and stuff like that, you're talking billions and billions, up to the point where you're potentially talking about trillions, and crypto ain't on that level yet. You know, I don't think there is a crypto trillionaire at the moment. You know, it will happen. It will happen. We're all here at the moment for crypto. It will happen, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next cycle. And I don't think Sam is the guy that's going to take us there. So the crypto lending platform, along with its 8 affiliates, filed for bankruptcy on November 28th at the New Jersey court. The platform made the filing days after it suspended withdrawals because of FTX's collapse. In a press release, the firm stated that it would be recovering all the money it's owed as part of its restructuring efforts. This would include the taking the money it's owed by even FTX. However, the lending platform has acknowledged that this effort could be delayed due to FTX's own bankruptcy proceeding. Now, reality is the money's probably not going to come back. Reality is whoever was working with BlockFi probably got screwed. That's the reality of it. I mean, I remember we spoke about this on the channel and we said a couple of weeks ago, we said anything that SBF is working with, anything that he's got associations to, we've got to remove our money from that. And you know what? It is what it is. All right. It's difficult, but this has happened so many times in the space now where you can't you can't say you didn't see it coming. At this point of the market, you just can't say that you didn't see it coming. All right. So it's a difficult one. I do feel sorry for anyone who was involved, whether you're watching this live or recorded. It does suck. I appreciate it does suck, but it's happened so many times now throughout this bear market that everybody's learned something. For those of you who have survived this bear market, if you're still alive and you're still involved in crypto, in the next bull market, you are going to be really, really experienced. You might not catch the whole thing, but you're going to be really experienced. You'll know what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about an altcoin, you'll know how to do your own due diligence. Whereas the new people that are coming in, they'll see me talk about the altcoin and just buy it because I spoke about it like an idiot, Anyway, so BlockFi's financial advisor said, with the collapse of FTX, the BlockFi management team and the board of directors immediately took action to protect clients and the company. And that's apparently filing for a Chapter 11. BlockFi are naturally going to get in front of this and try and claim that they're doing the right thing. But in the end of it, they should have been smart enough to know what FTX was doing. They should have been smart enough to know. I mean, when they were getting these contracts, when FTX was bailing them out, etc., giving them a line of credit, and FTX would have told them, they would have said, look, we're using the shares that we've got from Robinhood to, as collateral to support the shares that you've got. So we're going to borrow money from somewhere else. We're going to give you this money. This is what the collateral of this money is, etc., etc. They should have known. They should have been smart enough to know that the market operates in 3 different cycles. They should have been smart enough to know that what FTX was doing was not real. There was not real money behind it. They should have been smart enough to know. It's them. It's them that fucked up. And, I tweeted this yesterday, right? I tweeted it and I was like, not specifically about BlockFi, but let me see if I can find the tweet, all right? I'll see if I can just read out this tweet to you right now. Another thing to add to the notebook is the shiny toy concept. There will be new alts in the next run that will have more appeal to new users. Dollar cost averaging on coins that will become outdated in the next cycle might hinder you significantly. Some will make it and most won't. All right. When it comes to altcoins, guys and girls and everything in between, when it comes to altcoins, you have to remember that this cycle, the 2021 cycle, is done. Yeah, look, I want to see Polkadot go mad and Solana go mad and Floki go mad and I want to see all of that. I want to see Kiba go back to new heights. I can't wait for the meme coin cycle. I love that. I love it. All right. But why would my altcoins from 2021 go crazy in 2024? What about the new altcoins that have been building between 2022 and 2024, trying to build to make crypto even more efficient, even better? Projects that will dominate market caps that Polkadot and Solana could never reach to. So why would I spend my time in the bear market dollar cost averaging on coins that continue to sink, where the technology isn't evolving, they're just active? All right. One thing that you've got to consider is in 2024, when I believe the next market might return, I do believe there will be new projects that have new technologies that boast how they can help crypto evolve to the next stage, that take crypto to the next level. All right. And, BlockFi, I never gave a shit about BlockFi. I would never tell anyone, yeah, let's buy BlockFi. We're going to make 50%, 100%. I never told anybody that, and I would never, because of the way that they were moving, and it's caught up to them. And this is many altcoins that you're going to see. You're going to see many altcoins exactly like this, where it's not that they stopped in the bear market. They didn't stop, but they're not evolving. And because they're not evolving, they're going to get lag. There's going to be a lag. So to give you an example, right, in 2021, noticed how a lot of altcoins that were in the past, 2017, they popped, right? Give you NPXS as an example. It popped and it just did like 15x in one go, like in one candle, and it held it. It held it. Now, it took a couple of months into that cycle before NPXS did that. There was other coins as well that fell behind, but they did it too. Now, for me personally, I'm going to go with the shiny new toys going into the next cycle. I want to see what the new ecosystems are going to be. I want to see what the new market will have to offer. So BlockFi is just one example of many that will continue to go. All right, let's read out 2-3 more things and then we're going to shoot. Oopsie. Alameda Research withdrew $204 million ahead of bankruptcy filing, reports Arkham Intelligence. Now, let's look at this. All right, because this shit only gets worse. All right. Alameda Research withdrew over $200 million from FTX US before it filed for bankruptcy. Now, you have to remember that FTX US is not the same as FTX. FTX is different. FTX US is only for the US customers, and everything that FTX did only affected FTX for that period of time. So it would have made sense that if FTX was to go down, they will quickly log into FTX US, pull out as much as they can from that, so that they have some money to fall back on. Now, 200 million is a pretty penny to fall back on. If I had 200 million right now, I'm not going to lie, I don't know if my energy would be the same on the stream right now. I might be somewhere else, or I might be streaming somewhere else. I don't know, somewhere on a yacht or something like that. I don't think I'd be here right now in my room, right behind my desk, behind my green screen, talking about FTX. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably buy these guys out, see if I can build it. Anyway, in a Twitter thread, Arkham revealed that Alameda Research, FTX's sister company, pulled $204 million from 8 different addresses of FTX US in a variety of crypto assets, the majority of them being stable coins, in the final days before the collapse. Now, this smells as fishy as it sounds, Arkham analyzed flows from FTX US in the final few days before the collapse, finding that Alameda withdrew most of the funds at $204 million. Below is a diagram of withdrawals to Arkham's identified entities from FTX US. I forgot what NB stands for, but this thread regards FTX US assets only, not FTX International. So like I said, remember the difference between that. This is purely FTX US, and you can see here how Alameda Research pulled out $204 million since November the 6th. So that was only 23 days ago. Okay. Among the withdrawn funds, $116 million or 57.1% were in stablecoins pegged to the US dollar. So they didn't even withdraw it in tokens, they withdrew it in stablecoins. These guys, like, while everybody's getting fucked, pardon my language, but while everybody's getting screwed over, these guys are the ones that are profiting. These guys are the ones that are, our project failed, let's quickly get 200 million out so we can continue living our lavish lives. While people who have worked so hard to get to this position where they believed in us and they trusted in us, they're the ones that get fucked. Anyway, remember to like and subscribe to the content, by the way. Subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner. It takes a second to do. We're trying to get to 5,100 subscribers. Would really appreciate if everybody could get on board. Make sure you're checking out the Telegram link in the description as well. All right, it takes you to the Telegram. It's for free. It's quick. It's easy. You get involved. Do your thing. And make sure you're liking the video as well, by the way. Appreciate all of you for that. Okay, so this article here goes more into detail as to why FTX is continuing to just screw people over for the worst, for the worst. It goes on to talk about more as to transfers that were being made and how they basically ran off with their own money. It's crazy. It's mad. Thank you, Richard, again for the lovely comment. I do appreciate that. Love this show and your Telegram, top man. You're a nice guy, Richard. You're a nice guy. I tell you what, we're going to cut the stream from here. I'll do a little Q&A. I'm going to leave it from here. You guys ask me a question or two if you guys want to talk about anything. And after that, I'm going to shoot. Okay? So if you got any questions, maybe ask 1 or 2 questions from now. If there's anything you want to talk about in terms of bull market or bear market or or anything, just give me a shout. Let's see if we can talk about it. If not, I'm going to shoot. Let's see what the subscriber count is saying. Have we got to 5,050 yet? We are three away. So there's 3 people in the chat that haven't subscribed to the channel. That if we could maybe get you to subscribe to the channel, that would be great. Appreciate everybody's love on the channel today anyway. So do we have any questions? Does anybody want to ask anything? Otherwise, I'll give it a minute and I'll shoot. Phil here says, what do you think about some FUD starting with Binance? Well, all right, look, I'll tell you what it is with Binance. I haven't commented on it yet, all right, because I need a bit more to unfold. But what I will say is you have to remember that CZ recently just took out FTX's SBF, okay? You have to remember that when you kill a Titan, there are going to be some ramifications that come through with this. All right. So CZ put himself in the spotlight by doing that. Now, he was aware of that. He's different. He's built quite different to the others, but he's not immortal and he's not protected from every entity that's out there. So really and truly, like SC said the other day, trade with the funds that you need to trade with, but don't hold any of your main funds on any exchanges for the interim. All right. For the time being, because anything can happen. Especially if the SEC start to get involved, it can get really messy. All right, so that's my take on it for now. Maybe I'll cover it in another stream if it begins to evolve. We'll see what happens. All right. Hey, JJ says pleasure to listen to. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Philly says, do you think the next US election could be large enough catalyst to kick off the next bull run? No, I don't. I think closer to the halving. So if you haven't seen my market cycles video, you should check out my market cycles video. You'll see how the markets operate, bull market for a year, bear market for a year, accumulation for a year. We've had bull market for a year now. We've had the bear market for a year now. I think we're going into accumulation, one leg lower than accumulation, maybe a push up into 30K in the next year as part of the accumulation process. But I don't think that the US elections will be what gets us into the next bull market. I think it will be the Bitcoin halving. All right, so check that out. Stinkfov says, no questions from you. Thanks for the market update. Appreciate you, mate. What's this one? How do you think we should invest when we reach crypto bottom going into a bull market? Invest in Bitcoin or ETH till the bull is confirmed? Yeah, perfect. Well said. For me personally, I would love to hold Bitcoin and ETH. I'd probably hold Ethereum if I'm honest with you. And once Ethereum has done a couple of multipliers, then I'd start looking into sort of diversifying into alts. But I'd want a bit of time, I'd want some time to see what the new shiny objects are, because you got to remember in 2017, it was WAN Chain, it was Stratus, it was Chainlink, it was Walton Chain, it was NPXS. All of these tokens, they were the big players in 2017. And from 2018 to 2020, I saw people talking about holding this token and holding that token. And when 2021 came, it wasn't about those tokens. It was about Polkadot. It was about Definity. It was about AVAX. And so it was about Near and Phantom and FTT and all these new projects that came out. Even meme tokens. We had more meme tokens in 2017. We didn't just have Doge. We had other e-news as well. They didn't really thrive the way that they thrived in 2021. And to add further context to that, it wasn't Doge that gave the crazy gains. It was Flowkey that gave the ridiculous gains. You know what I mean? So for me personally, I'm gonna stick with ETH and Bitcoin. I'll trade altcoins, right? But I'm going to stick with Ethereum and Bitcoin for now. And then as we transition into the next bull market, there will be new tokens that come out that trade, that Binance lists, that KuCoin lists, that Huobi lists. You know what I'm saying? They'll give us signs and signals and keys to understand what might be happening. And I'll cover them on this stream as well, especially if I pick up a bag. What better way to show my bag than tell the community what I've bought? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to dump on anyone. Don't worry about that. But I'm going to tell you guys what I'm doing. All right. And it will be transparent with you guys as much as possible. All right. Could you give us your thoughts on the next FOMC? Yeah, I think it's still going to be bearish. I don't think we're going to get 75, but I think it will be 50. I think the previous meeting minutes that we covered spoke about giving some relief in the markets, some breathing room for the markets as we transition into the winter. But I do think that the next one will still be bearish. Obviously, because it won't be 100 BPS increase, the market might give us a bounce from that because we're transitioning from inflation to deflation. Um, Growth is starting to halt now as well. So as we go into deflation, if growth can sort of stagnate for a bit, that's bullish for us, because then if we go into a deflationary environment where we're lowering the inflation rate, at the same time we have room to grow, that could potentially help us big time in the next bull market. All right. So I'll be looking for good game tokens that survive and have good token economics. Yeah, maybe PYR might be a shout. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it unfolds. Anyway, everyone, appreciate everybody. Take care. Have a lovely day. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed the content. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the content already. Make sure you're checking out the link in the description below, the Telegram link. Definitely check that out. You probably all have Binance accounts, but if you don't have a Binance account and you're looking to get one, please consider using the link in the description. It shows our sponsors that you guys are enjoying the content, that you're engaged with us, that you're following on with us, etc., etc., etc. Thank you everyone for your time, for your patience. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the NJ Show. Cheers.